I want to talk about the parable of 10 virgins. I think it has I just figure out a possibility of its specificity because I was thinking about charge, right? How can a Christian can have a high charge, like high positive and distinct negative, so that there's energy of Christianity inside of all of us. And I could kind of manage to deduce that faith and deeds is positive, and for the negative, you should be aware, and you got to be wise, and you got to be disciplined. You put on the armor of God because you acknowledge that evil is practiced in reality, so you got to be wise and everything. So that's going to enable us to solve problems, which is something that we are, which is something that is our identity as members of the kingdoms of God. So next, the parable of the 10 virgin is something like that. So I was looking about, because it is said in the parable that when you maintain your oil, okay, it is going to be ready when Jesus comes. So that is that oil thing. What is it about? I could probably know better about the meaning of oil, its maintenance, and why is it that we really gotta treasure it and not share it to other people. That's specifically in the parable that the five virgin is not sharing the oil to the other five. And you see in the next parable as well that Jesus talk about the people who is accepted in the kingdom of God are those people who share, are those people who do something for the Christian people who are in need, right? The Christian people who are lacking of something, you complete it. Like, even it doesn't really have to be wealth. If you have knowledge of the law, knowledge of the economy or something, it could kind of give them a reason why they are facing the kind of things that they are facing in reality. Like, for example, tax could be surprising. Why do I have to pay tax up until this much? Is it fair? Is it a Christian thing? And as fellow Christian, we give them understanding, then tax planning, and other stuff. Okay, next. I'm going to have a lot of segue because of that probably. So let me just continue on and focus on the topic. All right, and we're it is already specific that the one that is accepted by Jesus when Jesus came is the one that has performed some deeds. It's the one that is has performed the work, and it is further explained in the by the apostles that it came from faith. So like the criminal on the right side of Jesus, even though he probably has done very bad things, but because of the faith, there's hope for him to be accepted, to become a productive member of the kingdom of God. So that's the point. And then what is the connection with the oil, right, guys? The oil is about, you know, another segue, sorry about that. Some people might say, why are you explaining all of this knowledge to people while it is actually can be used against Christians? And I do believe that all kinds of knowledge available in the Bible have been used against believers. But why did Jesus keeps on revealing it, and why did disciples writing all of this stuff eventually, because eventually we gotta focus. Eventually, as time goes on, things the entropy will increase, and we gotta focus no matter what. The evil of the past might to had taken different form to the evil that is now, and things that are virtuous in the past is different now. What is virtuous now is different from what is virtuous in the past. So this is the year 2000. We I think it's virtuous for me to go as far as this, but I do acknowledge that I wouldn't share. There are some things that I don't want to share personally as well. So don't you think that my policy is sharing everything? Not exactly, but I still think that why are we not progressing? And it is not their fault that they don't know about this, and then I share it. Okay, next. Okay, so the key of being the member of the kingdom of God is actually God is going to take into account your, what do you call it, your acts after you acquire your faith. And for the people that Jesus said, "Go away, I don't know you," um, probably they he equated them as the five foolish virgins who didn't carry the oil. And these people are the ones, it is clear up until now that these people are people who do did not help out, did not create goods and services that is contributive and that bears fruit, right? The previous one was the parable of the talent, and that is also still within the same theme, the same purpose. So again, it's about wealth and economy. And then this is, I keep on thinking about this. Why is it that the five virgins who are wise is told to not give, to not share to the other five virgins, while the oil means giving out to the people who are in need, the people who are the least among the the, the Christians? Why is it like that? So what does it mean? Now I could find an explanation, and I probably going to be controversial about this. So this is why I keep on going too much background. I'm sorry about that, guys, if it's boring, but this is probably worth the wait. Jesus has predicted communism. So in the future, right, guys, there's going to be an attribution AI. Do you know the AI that's going to attribute the creations of whoever, of other AI, of other human beings, and going to attribute the result to the source. Like, for example, you make an open source program, they're gonna audit your source code and kind of figure out who are the people who owns the patent, or who are the people who are acknowledged to be the initiator of that idea. And the attributor would want to attribute it to that person. Or is it something, again, if you learn about the intellectual property law, not everything must be attributable. Some things is, some things are like, you cannot make a name that is like, you make a toothpaste product, you cannot name it toothpaste. And there's the reason behind it. You got to look into it, the intellectual property law. But in the future, in one way or another, there's going to be a technology that could attribute your solutions to you, or you just contribute fragments of the solution that could be correctly attributed as well. So when that happens, guys, communism is going to be in trouble. Why? Because you, for the five foolish virgins, they relies on piggyback riding on the actual innovator, or the genuine innovator, or the one who solves the problem. And they're just, oh, I am your gang member, therefore I got all of the results as well. And during that time, when the technology arrives, you are not like these five foolish virgins are not going to be accepted. Why? Because they are not accustomed themselves. They are burying their talent. That's the parable of the talent. So they are not accustomed in terms of developing it, right? In terms of cultivating it. So in the kingdom of God, they are not going to help out. It's not that they are an outcast in an unfair manner. It's just that when they're being there, the inclinations would just going to be to take instead of to help out. So it's just the nature that it is only reasonable for a productive community to make boundaries against such attitude. For now, we could have a productive person. Sometimes he's being productive, sometimes he's being negative. But in the future, I think when people's age were extended, people's youth were extended, it is all about your attitude and what you are used to. Okay? If the way you live your life, the way the problems of your life is solved is all from things that are unethical, you're going to rely on that. And the longer the time you do that, the more difficult it is for you to get away from it. The same thing with being productive and innovative. The more you do that, the more you're going to be better at it. So that is the treasure. That is treasure that you would sell every possession that you have in order to obtain that treasure. Because what is 90 years compared to 1,000 years? What is 90 years compared to 10,000 years? At a point you will realize, like maybe when your age is 300 or 400, there's very little you can do to change a habit, maybe, or maybe you can with some technology, but it's just I don't know what to say. I'm not going to say it's hopeless, okay guys. There's like it's not, yeah, it's harder and harder, but that is not what I wanted to say. What I wanted to say that is that the identity of that person is already merged with the spirit that he had become. So it is just a management of, what do you call it, names and words. Therefore it is only logic. Like, say for example, how do I say this, light. Dark is the absence of light. That's just how it is. So if your name is darkness, then you are darkness. And if your name is light, then you are light. You know what I mean? It's okay. All right. So what do I say? You got to keep your oil. That's the meaning of oil. And be wise also. Even though you help out a lot of people, like in the Proverbs, it says, keep away from me poverty, because because if I'm poor, I could steal and tarnish the name of God and violate the fourth commandment, I think, right? So you don't also you got to be wise. You don't also want to expose yourself to that much danger, which in turn is going to make you more susceptible to sin. Remember the prayer that says, "Our Father art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and keep us away from evil." So you gotta keep yourself away from evil. You gotta be wise also. So that is also, you gotta be empty in order to get your oil filled, right? You gotta be humble in order to be wanting to help out people. Let's say you already have a lot of wealth, right? You gotta be empty, like an empty vessel. This is also a video that I have watched, right, by like a Filipino pastor, I think. You gotta be empty, empty vessel for the oil to be able to be filled in you. So you gotta associate. Let's say you're already rich, you associate your family's scarcity as your scarcity. Therefore, you would want to solve it. So I think that's what God is doing as well with human beings, that God loved us so that he made our scarcity his scarcity. And that's the continuation of his love throughout time. And I think we should do that as well, so that yeah, we are successful, but we have to be greedy, right? We can be more successful if the people around us are successful as well. If we have helped people, the our help will keep on bearing fruit and fruit and fruit and fruit and more fruit if the people that we help manage to become a very, very successful person out of the help, out of using our knowledge or out of using our wealth. So yeah, you got to be greedy in that sense as well. I think there's a lot of things that I missed. So please leave a comment in the comment section below. I believe every point of view is the point of, as long as it's truthful, is the point of view from God. So you please leave a comment in the comment section below. If you like, please like. If you don't like, please dislike. As long as it is truthful, guys, okay, please be truthful, and subscribe if you want. And I would appreciate your point of view if you would want to share it to me and to everybody else. Thank you. Goodbye.